This video was made possible by EA GameChangers. Well, hello there, my darlings, and welcome to the retirement home. This is a speed build. I know, it's shocking. I haven't had a speed build out in so long, but because now I am full-time on YouTube, I'm going to be bringing out a speed build every Saturday for Speed Build Saturday. So this is what it is. And this is me using the Nifty Knitting Pack for the first time. That was kindly given to me by EA with the EA GameChangers program. I'll go a bit more into detail on my thoughts on the actual pack in a second. But I was like, right, what does knitting mean to me? Not an awful lot, I will say that. But when I think of knitting, I think of my grandparents. I think of, and it's not just older people who knit, it's not. My best friend knits herself, and she's not an old person. Well, she's not too old. Oh God, I hope she's not listening to this. But my thoughts were, why don't we build a retirement home where your elders Sims can come and live and just live out the rest of their days? Maybe they've got a bit of mobility issues, or they're lonely and they want to be around people. And I thought this was the perfect fit for it. So I built this in Windenburg on the 40 by 30 lot, I think it is. It's the summer home lot. I have built so many houses on this lot and builds in general because it's one of my favourite lots to build on, and I thought it would be perfect for a retirement home. So this is what this is. Now, it's very quintessentially English looking, or British, you could say. I would imagine this being out in the countryside somewhere where they can go and just hang out in the countryside in the fresh air. That was my thoughts on it, and that is where we went with it. And I'm very pleased with how the outcome came. When I was building it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this. But the more I was going on, I was like, actually, I'm feeling it now. So I'm going to carry on. And yeah, it came through. Obviously, I didn't limit myself to the packs. I did use all of the packs that I have got to just make my vision come to life. Lots of changes were made, including the windows that I put on now. I actually changed them around. They were just, I don't know, they just weren't fitting the build for me. I really wanted to use them, but I ended up going for some different ones, but you'll see that in just a second. You will see it in just a second. I'm going to tell you the contents of this build, what's inside, what you've got in store. So I definitely made this kind of wheelchair accessible and kind of disable friendly. So there are handrails in all the toilets. There are ramps going up to the front and back exits and down into the garden. So people who have got mobility issues, ow, I just knocked my hand. We'll be able to access and get around the build rather easily. And yeah, I like it. Downstairs, it's got a big communal living room. It's also got a huge kitchen. It has got a nurse's office where the nurse can see to any ailments or injuries or anything, with a bathroom in there as well. It's got another bathroom downstairs too. It's got a lift access as well. I actually put an elevator in it. Yeah, they can't use it, but I was just going for realism purposes with retirement homes or nursing homes. What do you call them in other countries? I don't know what you would call. In the UK, we either call them nursing homes or retirement homes. And yeah, I went with retirement home, didn't I? Now, I have got quite a bit of experience with retirement homes because my mum used to be a matron of a retirement home for about 30 years. So I've got so many amazing fond memories of hanging out with old grannies. I really have, and I loved it because my mum used to work a bit later than what I would when I finished school. So what I would have to do is get on a bus outside school and go and meet her from work. And I'd be there for a couple of hours until she'd finished. And then we would go home together. And yeah, I used to hang around with all the old ladies. I used to love it. There was one lady in particular who I really loved. She was called Alice. And she was 103 years old. Like, how insane is that? She was 103. And she used to wait for me by the piano every day because she would teach me how to play piano. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot on the piano. I'm not amazing at the piano anymore. I haven't touched it in many years. But she taught me chords and everything. And she was 103 and I got taught that skill from a 103-year-old. I mean, how amazing is that? She was amazing. But obviously, she sadly died, which was really heartbreaking. That was probably my first kind of like, I don't know, kind of reaction to death. I'd never seen it before. So that I remember that hitting quite hard. And I remember my mum like really nervous to tell me that she wasn't going to be there. And it was really sad. Really, really sad. But I used to like float around the retirement home talking to people and sitting down in they had like these electric chairs and they used to put me in it and tip me up, all the old ladies and stuff. I used to love it. And I think they enjoyed having a younger person around every day for a couple of hours. I don't know. And that's probably why I've got such massive respect for the older generation. And it's sadly lacking in The Sims 4, like a lot of things, including skin tones. But we won't go into that now because I want to do something completely separate about that. But I think elders are also just completely forgotten about. Like I would love an elder pack. I just think it would be so cool. Like with all of their little hobbies and stuff. Like you can imagine like golf and I don't know, just tea and crumpets. They've got the rocking chairs now, which is just amazing. But I don't know, an elders pack for me, because I do like in gameplay. I think elders come with a bit more story than what a young adult would. And I don't know, I just enjoy it a lot more. You can probably see that by my Newcrest save. Most of them are elders. So rest in peace to all of those Sims that will be dying upon download. So make sure you've got your aging off. That's how I play anyway. What other? I've also got another funny memory about. It's not particularly about my mum being working in a retirement home, but it kind of reflects on that. A bit later on, when I was a bit older, she started to do nights. So she was working during the night and then sleeping during the day. And I used to get home from school around about 3:00. And that was just as she was just about to get up. She would always come down when she heard me come in the door and stuff. But that day, I'd actually forgotten my keys. And I had to bang on my parents' front door to try and get her up because I couldn't get in else. And it startled my mum hearing banging. She's like, oh God, so someone's at the door. And she said she got out of bed and her legs weren't working properly. And I was like, where is she? So I lifted up the letterbox and I was looking through and I could see the staircase. And I saw my mum at the top. Now, this is probably going to sound really evil, but my mum fell down the stairs. And not in a really, really scary way. It was a more on the bum, and all the way down to the bottom. And I was absolutely crying laughing. I was like, Mum, are you okay? Are you okay? She was like, oh yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. But I was just absolutely dying. And just seeing my mum come down the stairs in her dressing gown, on her bum. Oh, that memory will live for me forever. I'm sorry, Mum, for laughing at that. I am really sorry. It could have been a lot more serious. I do realise it. Do not laugh at people falling down the stairs, even though it is fucking hysterical. It can be very, very dangerous as well. But yeah, I did laugh at that. I did. But yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the build. You can see I've used the Jungle Adventure Stone that I've used on my Waswith School of Spellcasting. I built this magic school. If you haven't gone and watched that, let's build. And I loved that wallpaper. So I've used it on this, along with some of the windows from university, and a whole lot of landscaping. I landscaped the absolute tits off of this build, and I enjoyed every bloody second of it, I tell you. I went into debug as well, got loads and loads of landscaping from debug, and just made it look very pretty. I even put the lavender in the little pots that you can see going around here. Raised up the terrain here and there just to make it look a little bit more natural. And you probably saw me putting in a kind of wheelchair ramp with using a roof tool. And yeah, again, just trying to make this place look a little bit more accessible. I will say, as always, with all of my builds, make sure that you have got the move objects on cheat before you place down this build into your game, and everything should stay where it is. The roofs like that I've used as wheelchair ramps have been disappearing, but that just happens a whole lot. And yeah, there's not much I can do about that. I'm sorry, you may have to go and put them back in if you do download it, but it should be all right. It should be okay. Now, this little bit here, I was like, oh, let's do a little duck pond. I can imagine like a little duck pond being out the front of this, where the elders can come and sit on a bench and feed the ducks. And I was like, shit, what am I actually going to be able to use? Like, where can I find a duck in build mode? Do we have a duck in build mode? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I could just use a chicken. Look at all those chickens. But we had a duck. So I didn't need to use the chicken as a duck decoy. I used a duck instead, and we plunk them all around the pond in a minute, and it looks quite good actually. And I came across the duck by accident as well, because I did not know what blood that came in the game. I have no idea what pack it came from actually. I may be able to see it in just a second, but yeah, I thought that's a cute little idea, whether they could just get out and go and feed the ducks. Here it is. Look, what icon is that? Oh, it's base game. Well, slap me down with a feather. I did not know that there was a duck in the game. And what I did is size up these like stones just to act as bread. And I thought that was a pretty cute little detail where they were obviously been out feeding the ducks, and there's like little bits in the pond. I thought that was a nice little detail. And as always with me, details are key to just bringing a build to life. I say it to you guys so many times. Now here with the train, I was struggling because these benches were floating in midair. And it was nowhere near the terrain. I have no idea why that happened, but I did manage to sort it off of camera, so they do not float anymore. You'll be pleased to know, and I did not even need to use the tool mod, which I have been using a little bit, actually. I started using it on my Wasworth build, and I'm really enjoying it. I do want to play around with it a whole lot more, just to get a bit more experience with it, but I'm still bloody enjoying it, I tell you. Very, very much. Now, this little area back here is the fenced-in garden. I really wanted this almost like a memorial garden. I didn't put any kind of memorial in here, but it was almost a place where the elders could come down and just chill out into this garden area and just reflect on life or think about loved ones that they may have lost, just to get away from the hustle and bustle of the nursing home. I thought it was a nice little like step down into your own little space, and I put loads of trees and landscaping in it so it looks rather pretty. And yeah, I really enjoy it. I really do. Now, I did do a lot of the landscaping off of camera because this whole build would have been just me landscaping, because I love to landscape. To me, it's almost like painting a canvas when you landscape a build. I just love it. It's a mantra I'm here for. And yes, I'm completely here for it. Now, if you hear a weird thing in the background, I've got my fan on in my office. I've got my fanny out in my office, and she's flopping all over the room. No, shit, I've got my fan out, so it's like blowing warm air at me, because today in the UK, it is, what is the temperature today where I am? It is 29 degrees Celsius. Again, I will reiterate this, guys. In the UK, when it gets hot, it gets moist. It gets very, very moist in the UK. It's a humid kind of country in the summer. But also, our houses, especially mine's a Victorian house. It was built in the 1870s, I think. It traps heat in. We've got no aircon, so the heat just gets trapped into the house, and you're opening up windows and trying to flop your fanny everywhere. But it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It stays exactly the same temperature. That's before any of you guys in the hotter countries come for me and say, 29 degrees. That's my winter weather. But yeah, so at the minute I'm sweating my tits off. Stood up, may I add. I've got a new desk. I did go over this in my Let's Build, but just in case you didn't hear, I've got a new desk. A company sent me a electric standing desk, free, which I am very pleased for. It's the first ever kind of product I've got for my channel, like properly. And I'm in love with it. It's just changed my whole work life. So I am stood up a whole lot more, I tell you that. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. This was that little like kind of reflection garden that I was going on about. Just a little chilled out area. I put a couple of benches, or at least one bench, I think, down at the bottom, just to sit in amongst the flowers. I also put like a bird, one of those bird feeder things in here as well, so the elders could come down and feed the birds and sit on the bench and watch them. I don't know. I was just thinking, I had my elder head on. I was like, right, what would they like to do? What would they can't play bridge because that's not in the game. Oh, I should have put some card things in here. Oh, that's a shame. I forgot to put some card tables, but maybe you could do that when you download it. I have put chess tables and stuff, so they have got other activities. They've got their own craft room as well. I forgot to say that. And also they've got, obviously, bedrooms all with en-suites at the top of the level. At the top. And also another bedroom where the carers can stay. So my mum sometimes, she did. She used to stay overnight. And when all the elders were asleep, my mum could go and sit in her room. She would read, or she'd have a little nap. And they always got like these, they'll always have somebody on kind of shift. So somebody would be awake and the other person could go to the bedroom and have a sleep. It kind of works like that. So I wanted to implement that into what I did with this build. And I downloaded some elders off the gallery. I downloaded 7 elders, and then I downloaded a young adult and made her into a nurse as well, just so she was the one who did all the cooking and helped them out. And I really liked that. It'd be really cool to see a let's play of this, like in a nursing home. That could be really funny. You could get up to all sorts of shenanigans. You really could. Now, this like little decking like / patio area is, most of it is covered, especially under these rocking chairs. But it was quite a squish, but I made it work. I made it work. But yeah, anyway, my thoughts on the nifty knitting pack. I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not a fan. I don't like the art style of it. I don't like I just don't like the cutesy kind of vibe that I get from it, including the objects and stuff, like the plants and everything. I like the plants. I think they're cool, especially we've needed hanging plants from the ceiling for quite a long time. Some of the swatches on them are quite questionable. The gameplay is fun, especially when you've got a big group of elders and you can get them all in their rocking chairs and they're rocking back and forth and like knitting and stuff. I love seeing that. But I'm just not a fan of the aesthetics, and I'm just not a fan of the actual premise of this pack. When I voted for it, because I did vote for like an arts and crafts pack, I wanted like pottery and I don't know, mosaics and stuff like that was where my vibe was when I thought that's what it was going to be. I didn't want it to be knitting. Knitting just didn't kind of fall in line for that for me. And your opinions might differ from mine, but exactly, I always say this, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has got one. And that's just mine on it. I'm not a fan of it. I don't mind these couches though. These couches are going to kind of come in handy for a few of my builds. And the chairs, I like the chairs as well, but I think the rest of the objects I'm just not a big fan of. And these rocking chairs, I'm not a fan of either. Sorry. I voted for a different aesthetic to these rocking chairs. They were a bit more of a clean, modern rocking chair. And I find the graphics on the rocking chairs themselves not good. I don't know what it is with them. There's just something really off with the graphics on these rocking chairs. And I can't put my finger on it. They look sharp everywhere. They don't look well executed. And I think, personally, they're too big. They're way too big, especially the arms. My, Sim was sat in it the other day, yesterday, and I was looking at her hand compared to, the end of the arm. And the arm, it just looked really unbalanced and weird. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I'm not really a fan of it. But if you want that extra gameplay into your game, if you want rocking chairs, which we kind of have been needing for quite a while, then yeah, go and get the pack. But for me personally, I would have liked to have seen a completely different approach to this pack. And yeah, that is my thoughts on nifty knitting. Anyway, this is the living area. Obviously, because we've been in here for quite a while. I do end up changing that clock that I just put up on the wall. It just wasn't fitting the vibe. So I changed that off of camera. But yeah, this is the communal kind of living area. And I did put a little table off into the kind of bay window area so they could come and they could maybe have some lunch inside as well. I do an extra dining room in the conservatory as well. But that kind of acted as a place where they could come sit up, crochet, and have a little chat with each other and stuff. Really loved that idea. Really, really. The more I was building this, the more ideas were coming, and I really enjoy when that happens. I do. This is me knocking out the chimney to try and get this mirror up onto this fireplace. Always baffles me why that fireplace doesn't have a snap point on the front of it. It would make so much sense, but you know, Sims. But yeah, very cute. I actually changed the color of the mirror as well. It was a little bit too warm. I do that off of camera. I actually changed it for a slightly better look, shall we say. And it just comes together a whole lot better. Really does. But yeah, I wanted this place to be very traditional as well, so it's not reflecting my own personal tastes. But I did want it to look lived in. I didn't want it to look like it had been modernized for quite a few years. And that is my memories of like retirement homes. They all had this kind of Fausty look about them. Even though the place where my mum worked was absolutely beautiful. It was this huge Victorian mansion. It was stunning. But yeah, it always smelled like a bit funny as well, like farts and wee. But I have so much fond memories about the place. I do. This is the crafting room. So I did this just off of the main living area via a slidey door. And it's a place for them to come and do a bit of art or make some candles. And yeah, I really like it. The only problem, I really hate this about the Eco Lifestyle Pack, is that candle making station. You have to like rummage in bins first before you can actually use it. It's just, I don't get the thought of that. I've just bought the ingredients online. I would then like to go to the candle station and make them without having to resort to go in a dumpster and find materials. Like, I just don't get that. Very weird. Not for it. I hope that they would change that, to be honest. But saying that, Eco Lifestyle has completely balked up the whole game anyway, so I doubt that's going to happen, to be honest with you. Yes. But yeah, it's cute. Trying to keep, I didn't want to go for all matchy furnitures and stuff in here either. Quite a big kind of eclectic mix of styles and furnitures, but I like it all the same. Now, this is on the ground level as well. This is the nurse's office that I was telling you about. So if like one of the residents fell ill or had an accident somewhere, there's always a place where they can come and have treatment by fully trained nurse. That was from experience as well. There was always a nurse on like site where my mum used to work. And she was also medically trained too. So yeah, that's my I thought it would be good for gameplay as well. Like you could bring the elders near, make them lie down and pretend that you're taking their temperature or something. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, darlings. It's your gameplay. It really is. It's your gameplay. The choice is yours. The choice is absolutely yours. Now, this is the conservatory at the back. So this is obviously where I put the dining area. There's a fireplace in this conservatory as well, which is what I had in mind throughout when I was doing the exterior. I was like, it'd be really nice if they could go and sit in the conservatory with a fire roaring behind them. I would love to kind of implement that. And so I did. And this whole ceiling is glass as well, so they can get a nice bit of sun coming through. But yeah, also another thing I do like, another object I do like in the pack. Oh, what is that? It's my dog panting. It's that hot. It's the rugs. I don't mind those rugs. You know, like the crochet kind of knitted rugs. Yeah, I really enjoy them. Really, really enjoy them. Especially the white swatch, but because it's neutral, I'm here for it. And this is on the other side. It's gone now, but that was like just a little area where they could come out, do a bit of flower arranging, grow some herbs and fruits or what have you. It's just loads of activities to kind of keep them occupied. And yeah, I enjoy it. I do. So this is obviously the kitchen coming in now. I wanted quite a substantial size kitchen. Main reasons being it's supposed to be like a staffed kitchen. There would be two cooks. There was always two cooks on site at the retirement home my mum worked. So I wanted a kitchen big enough to be able to kind of cater for that. And also obviously laundry as well, considering all the residents would have all their clothes washed and bedding and stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to implement that into the game too. And I like it. It's a really like eclectic mix of colours, but for some reason the colours work in this kitchen for me and I enjoy them. I actually put a little table here as well, like a little staff table where I would imagine like they would grab a quick bite to eat while the residents are having their dinner. But But yeah, cute. I can't remember where those tiles are from. I think they're from Cats and Dogs, if I remember rightly. I could be completely wrong, but the thought was there, wasn't it? Yes. Now, I'm not going to show you how I furnish every single room in this either. Main reasons being they were all very similar to each other, and I just kind of mixed up the colours here and there just to cater for different residents and stuff. But you could make these rooms smaller and put single beds in them. I only did one room with a single bed. The rest of them have all got double beds. I think there's 4 bedrooms in total, including the staffed one. So it's not a massive house, but for gameplay, it was enough for me. And yeah, I was kind of happy with it. So this bedroom here, I would imagine a older lady living in this place. Hence, I like the pinky tones and peachy tones and stuff. Now, with this like little trolley table I pulled out, I was like, oh, maybe we could try and make that into something that you could push the bed up and she could have like breakfast in bed. But I couldn't find anything to kind of reflect that. So I almost just use it as a medical trolley. Maybe the lady needs a lot of medication. So that was where I went with that. That storyline came through and we were here for it, weren't we? We were. Yes. But again, trying to get in as many pinks as possible into this place as well. Lots of peachy pinks. Lots of peachy pinks. And I'm here for it. I did use the university doors for the bedrooms. So some of the stickers on them don't really represent what this is. But it did have like a map, like a fire escape map that I kind of enjoyed. But yeah, I like it. And again, for toilets, the toilets are all these bedrooms are ensuite, and I just made them look like they could be kind of wet rooms with with like rails on the side where they could hold on to it so they wouldn't like fall over and whatnot. I just wanted to try and make this as realistic as humanly possible. And I will show you, this is the kind of staff sleeping bedroom. So I put 2 single beds in here where the staff could come up and go to sleep if they wish. But if you download this, you could even make this into a resident room. Maybe a husband and wife couple living here, or a husband and husband, or a wife and wife. Yeah, I just wanted to reflect that. And again, trying to mix up all of the different styles of furniture was really fun. It really was. Anyway, my darlings, I'm going to leave you now. Thank you so much for watching this speed build. Give me some comments in the comment section and I shall reply to them. And I will see you all on Monday.